Today, we're jumping into a short story from the legendary Leo Tolstoy that is just incredibly powerful. It's called The Three Hermits, and it really makes you think about what true spirituality is all about. It gets to the heart of a question that might just change the way you see things.
And this is that question, right here. Can a simple, honest faith actually be more powerful than the most perfectly recited, learned prayers? It's a huge idea, right? And it's the central challenge of this whole story.
So, our story kicks off with a bishop. This guy is the real deal, a man of the church, full of formal knowledge and authority. And he's on a ship, sailing on what he sees as a very important holy mission.
As he's on this journey, he starts hearing whispers from the sailors. They're telling these wild stories about three old hermits living on some tiny, forgotten island. They're totally cut off from everything, from society, from the church. And, this gets the bishop thinking. His curiosity is sparked, but so is his sense of religious duty. See, in the bishop's mind, it's simple. These men are living without any formal teaching, so they must be doing it all wrong. He becomes absolutely convinced that it's his job, his sacred duty, to go to them and teach them the proper way to pray. He really believes his formal knowledge is what they need.
So, the captain agrees to a detour, and the bishop makes his way to the island. And what happens next? Well, it's this amazing encounter. It's a total clash of worlds. You've got the bishop's by-the-book religion on one side, and the hermit's raw, simple sincerity on the other. The bishop, of course, wants to teach them the Lord's Prayer. It's beautiful and important, but it's also long, complex, something you have to memorize. The hermits, though, they already have a prayer. It's so simple. 3 are ye, 3 are we. Have mercy upon us. That's it. It didn't come from any book. It came straight from their hearts.
So the bishop sits with them, patiently drilling them on the words of the Lord's Prayer. They kind of struggle with it, but they eventually get it down. And the bishop, he leaves feeling pretty pleased with himself. He thinks he's done a great deed, corrected their simple ways, and put them on the right path. He heads back to his ship, mission accomplished. But the story is nowhere near finished, because as the ship sails off into the darkness, something is about to happen that will completely flip the bishop's entire worldview on its head. Later that night, the helmsman sees something strange. A bright light, like a star, just hovering over the waves and moving fast, right towards their ship. It's impossible. The bishop is called up to the deck, and he just stares, totally baffled, as this glowing light gets closer and closer. And as it gets closer, they realize it's not a star, it's not a boat. It's the three old hermits, and they are literally running across the top of the water, as if it were solid ground, trying to catch up to the ship. They finally reach the ship and call out to the bishop. But listen to this. They aren't proud of their miracle. They're panicked. They're upset because they've already forgotten the complicated prayer he just taught them, and they chased him across the ocean just so he could teach it to them again. Wow. In that one single moment, you can just imagine the bishop's world shattering. He is completely, utterly humbled. He realizes that their simple, heartfelt prayer gives them the power to walk on water, while his correct prayer is just words. He bows down to them, right there on the deck, and says, "Your own prayer will reach the Lord. Pray for us sinners." So what's the point of all this? What is Tolstoy really trying to get at with this incredible story? Well, it's all right there in the bishop's transformation. It's a huge lesson about what faith really is. Tolstoy is telling us a few really big things here. First, that true faith doesn't need to be complicated, it just needs to be real. Second, how crucial humility is. The teacher had to become the student. Third, that a genuine spiritual connection goes way beyond any rules or traditions. And maybe most important of all, that being authentic, being sincere, is itself a divine act. This all boils down to one core idea: spiritual authenticity. It's what the hermits had in spades. It's this notion that a simple cry from an honest heart is way, way more powerful than the most perfectly memorized prayer. The intention behind the words matters more than the words themselves. Okay, so you might be thinking, that's a nice story from the 1800s, but what does it mean for me right now? Well, I think this message about faith versus formality is more important today than it's ever been.
I mean, just think about it. We so often see spirituality get tangled up in big institutions, heavy rule books, and really complex ideas. It's so easy to get caught up in doing things the right way that we might just lose that simple, pure connection that the hermits had. And that's the real gift of this story. It's a wake-up call. It pushes us to look past all the external stuff, the rituals, the rules, and try to find the actual core of what we believe. It suggests the deepest connection we can have comes from a place of simple honesty, straight from the heart. So, that leaves us with something to really chew on. In our world, a world just full of systems and rules and expectations, what does that kind of simple, authentic faith even look like? It's the question Tolstoy leaves hanging in the air, and it's one that's definitely worth thinking about. Thanks for tuning in.